No one cares about you. People are way too concerned about what they're doing to worry about you. So if you want to go achieve something, do a YouTube channel, do TikTok, go for it. Who cares? Worry less about what others are doing. Worry more about what you are doing. People you're friends with at the beginning of high school, it is very unlikely you're going to be friends with them at the end of high school. You're probably going to shift friend groups a lot. People change so much in high school, so you're going to grow apart, you're going to make new friends. By your final year, senior year, year 12, you should have found the people that you really connect with. And if you haven't, don't worry, because you're probably going to meet them later in life. You're not going to see 98% of those people ever again. So do what the hell you want. Seriously, it really doesn't matter what they think. Something I would always ask myself is, will this matter in 5 years' time? If I ever gave anything too much thought or cared too much about what the people in my high school thought, I just kept thinking, will this matter in 5 years? Number 4 is appreciate your youth and don't put so much pressure on yourself at this age, because right now you have to do a lot of studying. You might hate studying and think, oh my god, I don't like studying. Babes, it is a privilege to not like to study. It is a privilege to have to study, because once you're out of school and maybe you're in college, not only do you have to think about studying, but you got to think about how to pay the bills, getting a job, student loans, the real world. What are you going to do after you graduate? You're going to have a pile of problems on your plate. When you're in high school, there's really not that much for you to think about. Don't date. I never dated in high school, and I'm actually so happy I didn't. And I'll tell you the reason why. You are so beyond immature in high school, and you may think that you're immature, but you're not. I just don't think dating's a good idea in high school, because you're just so impressionable and you're immature. You're not going to have the best possible relationship. It's a given that most couples in high school break up. And in high school, when they've had really bad partners because they got into a relationship so young, that kind of shapes the partners they're going to choose later in life. Sometimes you're too young to learn from mistakes, and it just continues to spiral. So focus on friendships and studying. Don't focus on boys or girls. It's okay to get help, and it's okay to ask for help. It will not make you less of a student. Number 8 is perhaps one of the most important points, and it is the fact that you do not need to know everything right now. There's so much pressure when you're in high school to have everything figured out. You have literally 4 years to decide what degree you're going to do, what you want to do for the rest of your life. And it's a bit crazy to think about it, because you're barely a developed person at that age. So how can they expect you to know what to do? What I would say is, when you're young, especially in high school, take this time to explore as many different interests as possible. That's what I did. And even then, you still might change what you want to do, and you might change in uni. A lot of people change their degrees. Just be a bit relaxed about that and enjoy your youth. Don't put much pressure on yourself. It's not the end of the world if you don't go to uni. There are other ways. It's not for everyone. Even the career you might choose to do, you might change that, and that's completely fine and normal and very, very common. Take your grades more seriously. I always took my grades seriously, but this is for the people who don't, who are like, grades don't define me. I don't want to study. Babe, study. Say you decide you don't want to try hard in school because you know you're not going to go to college or uni. It is always good to get good grades just as a backup plan. Think about it this way. It's only 4 years of your life where you have to study this hard if you don't want to go to college. And you might go become a construction worker, and then when you're 24 decide that you want to go back to school. At least you have this backup there. And it's 4 years of your life where you worked hard, and it's just beneficial to you. You're not losing out on anything. Don't go to parties, or at least the ones you know I'm thinking about. The sketchy ones, the ones which basically are the popular kids who, depending on your school, my school, I would say the popular kids were kind of dodgy. Like, they were literally sketchy. They just did drugs, wagged school, didn't get good grades. Don't go to those types of parties, I mean. It is so easy in high school to go down the wrong pathway, especially if you don't have a goal, especially if people just want to be popular and join that group. Most of the popular kids, I think we all know this, they peak in high school, they flop later on. Wear less makeup. I look like a clown. Wear less makeup. Also know that you're gonna learn how to do your face better. Just know, you're going to change a lot. When you're in high school, your world is your school. Well, that's why it matters so much what people think of you in high school. Like, you just think about it so often and what other people are doing because it's your whole world. But know when you get out of school, it changes. No one cares. When you leave school, you might feel depressed and lost. I never felt depressed in high school, very privileged, because I was so tunnel lasered focused on my goals that I just didn't have time to be depressed, didn't have time to think about anything else. Now when I left school, within 1 week of leaving, I was so lost. I'm like, what the hell do I do now? And I fell into a depression that lasted 1.5 years until I finally found what I had to do afterwards. YouTube saved me, gave me purpose again. And know that feeling lost is very normal. Being smart and studying is cool. If people make you feel like a nerd because you're studying during break because you want to get better grades, babes, studying is cool. The people who study, the people who get good grades, the people who work hard are the people who make it in life and go further. If people make you feel bad for that, they're literally a loser.